Example 3. So now we're finally getting to the juicy number patterns, the ones that really separate grade 9 and grade 10. So let's have a look. 3x plus 1. So let's just separate that, guys. So 3x plus 1, 2x, and then 3x minus 7. Those are the first three terms in a linear number pattern. Determine the value of x and hence write down the first three terms. So we are required to determine the value of x, and then our next task is to write down the first three terms of the sequence. Okay, so I need you to note the following. We have our term 1, we have our term 2, and we have our third term. Now, important that it's mentioned that this is a linear number pattern, because in a linear number pattern, you know that there is the constant difference, right? Meaning that when we say term 3 minus term 2, we get the same answer as saying term 2 minus term 1, okay? Because the difference between consecutive terms is the same. And so we need to apply this reasoning and that logic to be able to solve this number pattern. Alright, so for us to get the constant difference, we can say term 3 minus term 2 is equal to term 2 minus term 1. Now I'm going to color code them the same way that I did in the beginning. And so term 3 is the blue one, 3x minus 7. And then we need to subtract the red term from the blue term. So then we say minus 2x, right? And that difference that we get in terms of x needs to be equal to the second term, which is the red one. So 2x minus the yellow term. Now you need to remember that this yellow term is a binomial, and you need to subtract the entire binomial. So you need to put that in brackets so that you subtract both those terms and not just one of those terms. Okay, now we solve this, right? The left hand side should be easier. So we go 3x minus 2x is just x minus 7. And on the right hand side we have 2x minus 3x minus 1. Simplified, we got x minus 7 equal to negative x minus 1. Now what we are left with here is a nice and easy linear equation, okay? And so we will now simplify this by quotation marks moving the minus x to the left and moving the minus 7 to the right, and so we get x plus x is equal to minus 1 plus 7. Okay, to make it obvious where those changes happened, this was added on the right hand side and this was added on the this was added on the left hand side, okay, and this one was added on the right hand side. And so now what remains is 2x equal to 6, and so therefore x is equal to 3. So we have successfully completed our first task by figuring out the value of x by using our knowledge of the constant difference that occurs in a linear pattern. Our second task, which should have been a 2 over there, is to write down the first three terms. So the first term, let's call him term 1, is 3x plus 1, which is 3 times 3 plus 1, which is 10. Our second term was represented by 2x, which is equal to 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. And our third term is equal to 3x minus 7, which is 3 multiplied by 3 minus 7, which is equal to 2. And so here we have the first 3 terms of our sequence successfully solved, nice and clean, nice and easy.